Welcome. That's My Take podcast. Today, we're going to be continuing with the rebuilding segments. Today, we're going to talk about players that you should target during a rebuild and players you should build around during a rebuild. So, I guess jump right into it. It's pretty self-explanatory. Does anyone have a preferred player they'd like to go first with?
Oh, me. All
Go
right.
for it.
I have AJ Dillon. He is on my Dynasty team, so this is going to sound 100% biased, but I looked at his stats, right? Last year, AJ Dillon,
This is a player to target or to build around.
to target, 187 rushing attempts, 800 yards, 5 touchdowns.
This
Let's
last
go over
year.
let's go over to Aaron Jones. 171 yards, 171 attempts, 799 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So if we're expecting AJ Dillon to already have an increased workload from last year and he outperformed Aaron Jones in every rushing stat, then why isn't he going to take over that backfield this year or next year?
No, yeah, definitely.
I agree.
I don't even think it's not even like whether he's going to get 50-50 or not. He already has it.
Exactly. He's already proved that he's a better rusher. So I feel like this year is his year to see even like 65% rushing share. And Aaron Jones will see a lot of passing opportunities.
Yeah, especially with their downgraded receiving core. I can definitely see that.
Yeah. And AJ Dillon, correct me if I'm wrong, the one injury I've seen him have in his career was the ribs in the playoff. So he doesn't have much wear and tear at all, and he's an excellent young player.
He was a second-round pick, too, when he was picked.
Exactly.
In the draft.
Yeah. All right. That's all I really have for that. So if you guys want to take over.
Okay. I'm going to go next. Now, like Steve said, this guy is also on my Dynasty team. Player to target for me is Pat Freiermuth. The move.
He was on my list too.
Yeah. And I only say this because you go look at the price point that you got to pay to go get a guy like Kyle Pitts to build around. You're talking multiple first-round picks. But really, when you want to break it down, Pat Freiermuth last year, both his rookies, had 8 less catches than Kyle Pitts did. Price point, it's just pretty much common sense. You can get Freiermuth for a second-round pick.
I think most people would smash accept on a second-round pick for Freiermuth.
Yeah, and if you're out there holding Freiermuth, I would not want him off for a second-round pick. You're shooting yourself in the foot if you do that. So, yeah, that's Pat Freiermuth. Nice budget tight end.
No, I 100% agree. He has much more of a touchdown opportunity, I'd say, because he's in a better offense than a guy like Kyle Pitts. But I'd never put him in like the George Kittle, TJ Hawkinson range. But I feel like he could very easily be a top 7 to 10 tight end for a long time.
But even
All right.
tight end.
I don't even need that.
Tight end is just one of those positions where it's like no matter if it's a starter, backup, or third string, like they're always going to look for their tight end. It's always going to be a vocal point in what they do, no matter who plays.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Ant, are you going to do your player or should I take over?
Back, that's my bad. All right, so my first player, we're going players to target, agree? Well, I want to mix up a little bit. Not even a player to start, but my first thing to target is just literally any first-round pick you can get for any value. I think
100%
value first-round picks, no matter what the year is. Every player that we're naming in this video came from a draft pick. So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, that literally like self-explanatory, but I'm gonna actually give like a good one. So my next one, which Gavin might actually like this one, I had Justin Fields starting off with quarterbacks. I just think his value right now is very low, especially for like even 1 QB or 2 QBs. I think it's very low. I think Fields has tremendous talent, and the rushing upside for fantasy definitely helps. I mean, if you have Fields, he's definitely a player to build around because there's no point in getting rid of him right now for how low his value is. I think he's definitely a player where if you're willing to give up in a 1 QB league, a second round pick, early or not, I'd give it up. And I mean, it's different too. Like we're in a 14-man league. Let's say, I mean, I don't think you would trade Fields for a second, Gavin, right?
No,
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
not.
But
Now,
let's
let me tell you this though. Let me ask you this though. If in a super flex league, are you taking Justin Fields or like the 106, 107?
2023
Now we'll call it 2022.
Oh, Fields easy.
Fields.
Yeah.
Not
Even
even
I think
close.
I'd take
That's
Fields, too.
Fields or Chris Olave or Jameson Williams. Realistically.
Even next year, I'm taking Fields.
No, I'm taking
See,
106 next year
I
over
don't know
Fields.
because I would say Fields
In a one
now,
QB league.
but
In a 2 QB league, we'd have to
Yeah.
work.
you know,
You
Fields
said
to
in
me,
super
like,
flex, right?
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm taking Fields.
In Superflex, I'm not taking just a first for Justin Fields. No.
Mm-hmm.
Fields is, I don't know. He's one of those guys where it's like he could definitely be a high end QB2, and he'll always have quarterback one potential just because of his rushing upside.
I also think Fields is very good.
Yeah.
I
But-
think finish.
No, go ahead.
I think Fields since the Bears got, I think his name is Ryan Pace. If I'm wrong, let me know. Old Chiefs GM. I feel like getting him, he's gonna clean up the dumpster fire that was left behind for him, and he's gonna put Justin Fields in the best possible situation to be a good quarterback.
Yeah.
They'll probably have a top 10 pick, and they have a crap load of cap room next year. So,
Yeah, it's like them, the Steelers, and the Patriots with like a ton of cap room.
I mean, do we
Yeah.
want to swing it back around? I'll go again and then go that way.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
So
that's
whatever you want.
my next player was Miles Sanders. Another guy where I think you could get him for a very low price, and it's kind of like a low risk, high reward. He has the talent to be a top 15 running back consistently in fantasy, and I think it all just goes on if he gets the role to be that. I don't think Kenneth Gainwell is that good. I don't see why he's getting more reps than Miles Sanders.
But I
Don't
would
let
even
me
say
hear that.
I would even say Gainwell's a guy to target now.
No, he could be. I mean, you could definitely go after and get both, but I just
Yeah,
don't.
third round pick.
I don't see how Miles Sanders like eventually doesn't get on a team if it's not the Eagles that he will get that role because we know he's like an excellent running back. He's had games.
I don't know
where
free sponsors.
every time he gets 18 to 20 carries, he goes nuts.
Yeah.
Or not nuts, but he has 100
He
yards.
points sufficient.
No, for sure.
So I think he's definitely a player to target low if you can, if the guy that has him doesn't necessarily want him. And I think he's definitely a guy, maybe even if you have a bigger name player you don't want because he's older, you trade him to get Sanders and maybe a pick. Maybe not necessarily a first, but you could get maybe a second or something.
Yeah. All right. So, again, this is a biased pick, but Chase Claypool. You can get him for a second round pick. We go back to his rookie year, had 9 touchdowns. I think he had like 850 yards. But last year, you go look at his numbers, kind of a really big step down. But that's not necessarily a knock on him as an individual player. Their offense was so bad. They couldn't even extend drives getting first downs. This year, whether it's Trubisky, Pickett, or fucking Mason Rudolph, they're going to be able to push the ball down the field a little bit more than how they did last year with a declining Ben Roethlisberger. And so Chase Claypool, second round pick, I would definitely buy into that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Steve?
All right. My next player to target, I'm going to go with Chris Godwin. I say this because last year he was wide receiver 15.
Yeah.
And I just think, he's going to have a significant time miss. He's going to miss the first month.
Yeah, probably
maybe a little longer, probably like half.
Okay, so
Maybe,
I'll say
I could be wrong.
I'll say 5 weeks. He misses 5 weeks. He's going to come back. He could easily still finish as the wide receiver 18, the wide receiver 19. That's not anywhere near out of the range of outcomes, and the range you're drafting him at or the price you're paying for him because of his injury is significantly lower than what his value should be and what his talent will be, especially with guys
What's his age? He's not that old, is he?
26, I believe.
Yeah, he's like Deontay Johnson age.
Yeah, I'm gonna check right now. I believe he's
26. I
26.
don't know when he
Okay.
turns 27. I mean, I can even look. I'll look it up right now.
Okay.
But I mean,
But yeah, with the departure of Gronk, Antonio Brown, and I think Giovanni Bernard left too, or
Yeah.
great question.
okay, and Gio. So yeah, those three leaving, that's gonna open up enough targets for Chris Godwin to go absolutely nuclear when he comes back.
Okay, so Chris
Yeah.
Godwin actually turned 26 in February.
Okay.
So if you think
Yeah.
he's going to be good going into the next season, regardless of the injury, and then to have him for at least 2 or 3 years after that, then yeah, I agree with you. It all depends.
Yeah,
He's never signed long term to Tampa, has he?
I believe he signed like a 3 or 4 year deal.
I think
Actually, you may be right. Was it
right? I think it was right after he got tagged.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so
it was.
too.
You're right. It was this year he got tagged, right? Or he got the contract, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking it up right now to be sure. 3 years, 60 mil.
Okay,
March.
never mind.
He
So that's the
signed it
only
in
thing
March.
that's the only thing that sucks is he might be tied with a crappy quarterback.
That's true.
But that's where I tell you this. 2019, I believe that was Jameis Winston's final year in Tampa Bay.
Jameis isn't bad.
86.
Come on now. Jameis was a good
I
fan.
think Jameis is a good quarterback.
Jameis is good now, but 30 for 30, that's not exactly
Okay, well,
something you want.
maybe not a
But
great
just the
NFL
point,
quarterback.
we'll call him average. If
Okay.
Chris Godwin's paired with an average quarter,
For
yes.
fantasy receivers, Jameis Winston
okay,
is literally
no.
like
30 for 30. That's no.
for
Equal just as many
2019.
touchdowns.
I'm
That's
talking
average.
about as an asset for his fantasy receivers, he is
Yes.
well above average. At least that season, he was.
Okay. I'll give you that. But anyways, 86 catches, 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns. I don't think Brady being there or not is necessarily a huge concern for his value moving forward.
Okay.
I can see that.
Steve.
I mean, especially with a guy like Mike Evans being older. This is actually 2 players for me. It is both of the significant players in the Bears offense, David Montgomery and Darnell Mooney. I'm putting
Montgomery also.
Yeah. Monty is only 24. He's previously a 1,000-yard rusher. And yes, he has missed 4 games in his 3-year career. But I just think that he's also a very proven and like well-established pass catcher. 25 receptions first year isn't good, but 54 and 42, that's very good. And he only had
ability too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what lost you a championship.
Yeah, it literally did. 80-yard run.
Yep. And I think he can easily have 7 to 10 touchdowns as he has every season of his career. So saying that he finishes anywhere outside of the top, I don't know, 17 running backs is crazy to me. And then Darnell Mooney. I looked at his stats. I'm looking at all my stats on fantasydata.com. He had 1,000 yards last year.
He did.
And only 4 touchdowns. So say he gets, 850 yards and he gets 7, 8, 9 touchdowns. He's going to be a problem.
See, but that's where I'm skeptical if I'm trying to buy into him, because most people are asking for like a mid-first round pick, and I don't know if I'm willing to pay that just with a small sample size. If you're lenient and you like Darnell Mooney, I mean, you can go for paying a late first, but maybe not in 2023.
No, I'd trade a 2024 first for Darnell Mooney easily, but not a 23 first. This is also the guy that offered you Ryan Tannehill for 24 first.
I said that to everybody. Somebody was going to be a sucker.
Not me.
Nah, but going back to Montgomery, I do think the fact that in not most leagues, but the fact in some leagues, if the guy that wants to get rid of Montgomery, you can maybe squeeze him out for like a second, maybe 2 seconds, is like, I think, I don't know, the value behind that is just way too good. He's, like Steve said, way too young of a running back. He's proven that he's a good running back. And the idea that if that offense gets better and Fields is as good as everyone thinks he could be, that offense could be very explosive in a couple years. And what, Montgomery will be 26, 27 in 2-3 years. Like it's not like
Mhm.
it's not like
He'll
he's
be a
gonna
free
be
agent next year. No,
okay, even better. He
Not
gets to leave and go
100%
somewhere
sure.
else.
I don't know if the Bears will resign him.
Okay, but then he gets to go to a better situation.
That's what I'm saying.
Either way, Montgomery I think is one of the best buys you could get right now if the person that's selling him will give him for cheap. I don't see why.
No, I agree, but I also don't see a lot of people selling him for cheap. Like
Yeah.
the least I'd ask for if he was back on my team again, I'd start at a 2023 first, and I wouldn't accept anything less than that. But I did trade David Montgomery in a 23 second for Nick Chubb in a very early 23 third. So I am very happy with that deal, but Nick Chubb is now off my team.
Dubs.
Okay, so you got your two.
I do regret that trade, but I'm like in the first.
Do you have another player you would like to go about, Gavin?
Yeah, and honestly, I'm surprised neither of you said this, but Calvin Ridley.
I was thinking that, but he's like 28.
Yeah, I
And
don't
even
know.
then, the shelf life of receivers, he's got a year off. He'll be a free agent next year. Someone's going to sign him.
That's what I thought, and then D-Hop
Someone
died
will.
on me, so
Well,
I'm
no,
scared of
he
old receivers
gets
now.
another year with Atlanta, I think.
Well, this would be his year.
No,
Oh yeah,
I think they have to suspend the contract a year. And then they would
Okay.
trade him because he doesn't want to be there, but
But either way, like if he's playing, that's a plus. For what you can get him right now, it's a no-brainer.
I
If you
think
think he's going to play again and even
No, I
be
think-
average.
I think he plays again this year. I don't see, if he appeals that suspension, there's no way he gets a full year for Bennett. You're telling me that he gets a worse suspension than what they offered Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, I think they did. The reserve got suspended. So 2023, I don't know if that's an option year or
No,
not,
it's not.
but yeah. So if you got, I don't know, the second round pick, a late second, I would definitely give that for a guy like Calvin Ridley,
Mhm.
considering how he was before.
for sure. I'd be hesitant if it was a what's it called, 23 second. But if someone's asking for a 24 second for Calvin Ridley, smash that, please.
Oh yeah, why not?
Yeah.
It's worth the risk.
Mhm.
It's well worth the risk, especially if you think maybe in a year you could be back to close to contending, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
For
But
rebuilding, you got to be willing to wait. So
another guy that I had, first tight end, I think that's been said. I actually had two, but I'll start with one and then I'll go to the next one. The first one I had was Dawson Knox. I just think the
Yeah.
value behind him, he's super low valued. You can maybe get him for a 23 third or something. And honestly, if you need,
really that low?
I don't think so. I
I
mean,
think you could.
Maybe a second.
Okay, maybe not in our league, but in normal leagues you could
really?
probably.
Are we that bad?
That's crazy. 'Cause
Maybe
he's a guy-
2/3. Either way, I just
Me
think
personally, I'm not even considering that, but I'll let you finish.
either way, let's say even a second round pick for Dawson Knox, the value that he has, like if he could, I mean, the problem is he's touchdown dependent sometimes, but he's still pretty decently young for a tight end. He could be very good in a good offense for a while. He's gonna have Josh Allen, probably the best quarterback in the NFL for the next however long he plays, and
You meant Dak? Or you talking about Dawson Knox?
I said Dawson Knox, not
Yes,
Schultz.
Oh, okay. I thought you were still talking about Dalton Schultz. I was like, wait, what are you talking
I
about?
never said
buddy?
Schultz. Did I say
thought
Dalton
you were.
Schultz by accident?
Yeah, you said Dalton Schultz.
Did I?
Unless I'm tripping.
I don't know. One of
Nah.
us is, but
Yeah. all right.
Okay.
but nah, Dawson Knox, I just think he's like his value is so low that like if you want to get a guy at tight end, so you don't have to waste a first round pick on maybe like, oh my god, it's gonna piss me off that I can't think of his name. Who's coming out as a tight end next year? The guy from Notre Dame.
Oh, Michael Mayer.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you don't want to waste a first round pick on him, maybe even who knows, maybe use Dawson Knox for a year or two, let his value go up, and then you get rid of him and you get Brock Bowers from Georgia as your tight end in a couple years or something. I don't know. He's someone that could be a good placement holder for a rebuilding team that his low risk, possible high reward as your future tight end position could be very good. He's someone that like could lock down on your spot at tight end, and that's why I think it's worth the risk of getting him. That's why I also have Noah Fant on my list. I think low risk, could be a lockdown guy at your tight end. I like Noah Fant a lot more than Dawson Knox because I think Noah Fant is less touchdown dependent than Knox will be. I think Fant is a very good tight end. And I think Fant, if he gets a chance in a good offense, or Seattle could be a good offense, he could be very good and he could be your future tight end for like 5 years. But it also depends from him and Knox. I think Fant is definitely younger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So,
so. Because Knox is 25. I don't know what Fant is.
Fant's got to be young. He was drafted in 2019.
Yeah,
Actually, Knox was the same year, I think, maybe.
I don't know.
Knox might have been 18, but it wasn't. Let's see. Yeah, Fant's 24.
Gotcha.
So, and tight ends are good until at least 30, 31.
Depending on
Some of them.
injuries, you can't.
Some of
Yeah,
them.
you can't say everyone's gonna have a Travis Kelce
He's still, if you could get Fant for even like a second round pick and take a chance that he's your future tight end for the rest of your dynasty league, like, or the rest of like the next 5 years, it's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. But interesting enough, I'm gonna kind of get into players you should build around. If we're talking about Noah Fant and people shy away, it's like quarterback situation, Drew Lock, Geno Smith, whoever it may be. I am definitely buying into DK Metcalf if you want to wait a year or so until they get their quarterback situation figured out.
Yeah.
You have anything else to say, or
just one more thing? Because believe it or not, a lot of people are just skeptical on this quarterbacks, but you go look at last year when Russell Wilson went down, DK was still a top 6, top 8 fantasy receiver in PPR.
Yeah.
So I would definitely take the talent over a situation in that case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I can totally see DK still finishing. I think he'll be like a top 15 to 17 guy this year, but next year he'll still be very good.
Mm-hmm.
Last guy to buy in on, Rhamondre Stevenson. I'm a Patriots fan, so I might be biased, but I drafted him last year in my Dynasty startup. I drafted him this year in my Superflex startup, and if it's up to me, I will draft him in my 16-man Dynasty startup because because
I can't tell what
he
window
is
it's coming from. I can't even tell.
He has 3-down workhorse ability, which he started to showcase last year, and he continued to work on this offseason. And he's just a beast. If you really sat down and watched Rhamondre Stevenson, he's a dog.
Yeah. My only knock on him, not him, just New England likes to use multiple running backs. So it's just like I hope it doesn't eat into his.
No, that's true. Production. But Damian Harris' contract is up after this year, and there's like a 90% chance we don't re-sign. No, there's no chance we re-sign him. Nice. So I can easily see Rhamondre being the leader of that backfield and having easy top 20 RB stats every year until he may get traded or his rookie deal is up or whatever happens with him. I see him easily being a top 20 running back in New England for as long as he's the alpha.
The sun is pissed me off.
All right. We should probably get into players you look at your roster and say, yep, I'm keeping him. We got to build a roster around him. I know what I have with this guy. And start.
Yeah, I don't know why the sun is in my face, but the first guy, let's see, which side am I on? It's this guy right here. If you can't see, it's Saquon Barkley. I think the value with him is at an all-time low, and if you have him, it's worthy of keeping because if you're a rebuilding team, what risk do you really have to take in keeping a guy at his all-time low? And that's the kind of reasoning behind all the guys I have. But for that reason, I think Saquon is going to have a big bounce-back year. I think the Giants' offense could be a lot better. Even if he doesn't have the biggest year, as a Giants fan, I don't necessarily know if we're going to re-sign him, which could be even good for him. So I think the value with Saquon and being able to keep him for a year or two as a contending team, knowing he's only 25 still, it's just too good to pass up on.
Yeah, I agree. Steve?
I'm going with a little, well, I wouldn't say proven assets, but guys that I think just they're younger and have more stability. First off, I'm going to go with Javonte Williams. He is on my team in Ant Superflex League, and at least for the next 3 years, I won't even field an offer for him. He is an absolute dog, and I don't know. I just think the value that people are getting him at is pretty good, but it could be a little better if you're drafting him, but I don't know. If you are drafting him, you can't trade him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Even with the work share this year with Melvin Gordon, I don't think that's going to last a career time. It's a 1-year contract, so.
No, I think that'll
Yeah.
help him, if anything, because it'll prolong his career.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going again.
Oh, Gavin.
Oh, yeah, me.
I mean,
My bad.
can,
All right. I'm gonna. A lot of people might say, this guy, I'm not in love with him. DJ Moore. I like his floor. He's finished as a wide receiver 14, wide receiver 15, even with poor QB play. So I think the floor is there, and the situation can only get better. So you may as well hang on to him while you can. Hopefully, and Baker's a lot better than Sam Darnold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So my next player, kind of another like following the system of sticking with. Okay, I don't know why the mic's falling on me, but another player that I want to stick with, another guy that I think is kind of like an all-time low is Brandon Aiyuk. I think Aiyuk is a very talented player, and I think Aiyuk is going to be amazing with Trey Lance. If you have Aiyuk, you should definitely not give him up. And if you can get Aiyuk, he's another player to target that I didn't say. But I think Aiyuk is someone that could be your wide receiver 1, 2 moving forward in the future. And getting rid of him now for maybe at best a late first round pick, I think it's stupid. That's just, I mean,
agreed.
I think Aiyuk worked out a lot with Trey Lance over the last few years. He loves Trey Lance. When Trey Lance played, Aiyuk got that bigger role that he was asking for all season. So I think look forward to see that this year. Kittle was used more as like a blocker towards the end of the year. So if that moves forward and Aiyuk gets more receiving, who knows with Debo? Maybe Debo still sits out. We never know. I don't think so, but he might. You never know. Yeah, I don't think
Also,
so.
If he leaves.
People forget how elite of a separator Brandon Aiyuk is in his routes. I forget what exactly the numbers were, but 2 years ago, he had one of the most insane separation rates I had ever seen.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that. I think it was yards per separation. I remember him and Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
I guess you can consider another name. Very identical.
All right, another guy. These are just guys I'm like building around. CeeDee Lamb, another guy. I said I wouldn't trade him, but I got the Javonte deal. So in most, I don't know, for a second round value, I'm holding him as my wide receiver 1 because I think he's easily a top 3 to 4 wide receiver this year and the next couple years after. And you just don't trade him unless you get like a slightly downgraded Jamar Chase type deal.
So we definitely have.
That's what I did.
We definitely have like different ways of going at this than I feel like me and you. Like you picked more of like the star-studded guys that you obviously are like your star guys to build around, where I kind of picked the guys that are at an all-time low or lower value than they should be.
Yeah, for sure.
So definitely a different way to look at it. Gavin, who's your other guy? And we can kind of see how like you went at it.
Yeah.
I said DK and DJ Moore.
Okay. So
kind of like solid floor still.
You're pretty much in between.
This upside. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I went with all big names. Like my build around 5 was Waddle, Javonte, T. Higgins, ETN, and CeeDee Lamb.
Okay. Well, ETN's not really. I mean, he may be a big name, but he's never played. So
yeah, I don't know. I just think you can make a running back a good rusher by giving him volume, coaching him, all of that. But it's harder to teach pass catching ability. So if you have that as a running back, you're more likely to succeed, especially in a PPR league.
No, that's definitely fair to say.
Before we wrap it up here, I just want to throw out honorable mentions. 2 names actually.
Oh, can I just
Devontae Smith. I mean, that's a pretty good wide receiver too.
Yeah.
And Rashad Bateman.
All right, I was going to say Rashad Bateman, but I'll give you another one. Hollywood Brown. People aren't asking for a crazy price, and with Kyler Murray, he is going to have weeks where he goes ballistic.
Dude, you can get him like 7th, 8th round in startups.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
He's going to be a wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another guy I had was because I had the lower end guys, Gabe Davis. I just think if you have him,
I'm
why
not
give him
huge
up?
on him.
Yeah, but I just
Yeah.
feel like if you have him, if you're a rebuilding team and you have him, what value are you getting? What do you think the best trade package you would get for him, straight up pick wise?
That's fair because realistically, it's like a second and a
That's what
third.
I'm saying.
That's what I give
So
up for
why
Chase
not
Claypool.
take the risk that he could be your wide receiver too moving forward? Maybe even a flex play.
Yeah.
Instead of giving
Reasonable, I
up
guess.
for a late second round pick, you're not going to take a chance on a possible flex play. I'd take that every day of the week.
I mean, yeah, no, I don't. I just feel like people overrate him so much because of his big playoff game.
Yeah,
and
but
that's not his fault. That's just people's fault for thinking that he's going to do that every week.
I liked him before that, so I'm not necessarily going off of him. That kind of actually hurt me because I was someone that liked him more and would have invested way more into him. But now I already had him in our league. That's how that's how I can prove that I liked him. I literally drafted him a year prior. But
Yeah.
I can even hold on. I'll even you guys can keep talking. I'll literally show you something in a second.
I don't think you should. Just
I
make
think-
sure you skip the nicknames, man.
I'm not showing you on the computer. I'm showing you.
Okay. I was just making sure.
Oh,
'Cause,
hold
yeah,
on.
some of them nicknames, man.
I got this a little over or before last season. I got this. I'll show you guys right now. I'm a Gabe Davis fan.
Oh, nice.
Oh, there you go.
I'm
There you go.
a you know,
Big Gabe Davis guy.
can't see it.
Yeah.
I got some other ones. I gotta actually could be a good podcast to show off my collection.
I have some cool sports cards too, so that could be a dope video.
Bro, the signed ones are kind of. I mean, bro, I might
I
have
only
to.
have one signed one.
Oh,
Well, no, I have a couple signed ones, but one good signed one.
I may have to give a. Oh, dude, you want to see the nicest? Yeah, well, this
And
is
we have a
complete-
minute and a half.
Yeah, a minute and a half. You guys can keep going on your guy. I'm gonna find a nice
I don't have
treasure
any
to show
more.
the podcast.
Yeah.
No, I mean here you can wrap up the video then, Steve, because I got a nice card to show you.
All right. Thank you all for watching. If you have any suggestions on videos we should do in the future or things you agree and disagree with, let us know in the comments. There is Ant's card that you
just
can't
like
really
you.
see. I think it's Brandon Aiyuk. Yeah, that's my boy.
Autograph.
Trades in too. Trades
yes,
in the
sir.
comments.
Yeah, definitely trades that you want us to review. Thank you all for watching and peace, boys.
See ya.
Peace.